I'm Diane. I'm sitting at my desk, staring at the email I just sent. The consequences of hitting that send button are about to unfold, and I'm both terrified and oddly calm. I just ended a $2 billion merger and potentially my own job, but I couldn't let it go on. How did I get here? Let me take you back. I grew up in a small town. My parents were hard-working people. My father was a mechanic, a man of few words but with a strong sense of integrity. My mother was a schoolteacher, kind-hearted and always encouraging me to learn. They instilled in me the values of hard work and honesty, which would come to serve me well in my career. Right out of college, I landed a job at a big shot firm. I was young and eager, and I started as an assistant to Marcus, a senior partner who handled mergers and acquisitions. Marcus was in his late 50s, a grizzled veteran of the industry. He was sharp as a tack and had a knack for spotting the potential in people. I remember the first time Marcus noticed me. I was just filing some reports, but I took the time to read through them. I started to see some discrepancies in the numbers, and I pointed them out to Marcus. He was surprised at first, then impressed. "Diane," he said one evening when we were preparing for a major negotiation, "most people just look at the surface, but you see what's hidden. You've got a future in this business." From then on, Marcus started bringing me into meetings as an observer. "Watch their body language," he'd whisper. "If they shift in their seats when we mention a price, it's probably too high for them." Those were the real-life lessons I couldn't have learned in any classroom. I learned how to read people, how to analyze complex financial statements, and how to spot the red flags in a deal. Marcus got promoted after a few years, moving up to head the entire division. I was genuinely happy for him, he'd earned it. But then came Ryan. Ryan was in his early 30s, a young VP who'd just joined our firm. He had a smooth-talking charm and a reputation for closing big deals at his last company, or so he claimed. When Marcus introduced us, he said, "Diane, you're going to love working with Ryan. He's a real go-getter." Ryan gave me that smile that made people trust him instantly. "I'm sure we'll make a great team," he said. The first month working with Ryan was normal. I managed his schedule, answered his calls, and prepared the briefings for his meetings. But then, he started asking me questions. At first, they were small things like, "What do you think of this valuation?" Or "Does this timeline seem realistic?" I answered him honestly, pointing out flaws and suggesting alternatives. He seemed to value my input, and it felt good to be heard. As the weeks went by, the questions got more in depth. He asked me to walk him through how Marcus used to handle deals. I explained Marcus's research methods, how he always cross-checked information from multiple sources before making a decision. Ryan nodded and said, "Smart. No wonder this firm has such a good track record." 3 months ago, Ryan handed me the Bradley Enterprises acquisition. "I need a full-scale background check on this company," he said. "Everything from their operations to their finances and the people behind it. Can you handle that?" I'd been doing this type of work for years, even if my name never appeared on the reports. "Of course," I replied. I dove headfirst into the project. I spent countless nights rebuilding their financial models because the ones they provided were inconsistent with their public filings. I found connections between their subsidiaries that explained some strange transactions. I discovered that their fastest-growing division was actually losing a fortune through a complex system of shifting losses between countries. I worked tirelessly for 3 months, uncovering every detail. I wrote up a comprehensive analysis, clearly outlining all the problems and solutions. When I finally presented it to Ryan, he barely glanced at it. "This is excellent work, Diane," he said. "I'll take it from here." I felt a sense of pride, thinking that my efforts were going to contribute to a significant deal. Fast forward to today. I'm standing at the back of the presentation room, holding a notepad that I don't even need. There are 23 people in the room, investors from Bradley Enterprises, senior partners from our firm, and Ryan, up at the front of the room. Ryan is talking about the overseas operations of Bradley Enterprises. He's explaining how the company's international divisions have hidden weaknesses that most analysts would miss. He's talking about how the numbers might look good on the surface but are actually hiding serious problems. He's even talking about how restructuring the European and Asian branches before finalizing the acquisition could save millions. Every single word coming out of his mouth is mine. Every insight, every number, every solution, all of it was my work. An investor raises her hand. This level of detail is impressive. How long did this analysis take? Ryan smiles, that trustworthy smile. About 3 months of intensive research, he says. I wanted to be thorough. I grip my pen tightly, pressing it into the paper but not writing a single word. Another investor leans forward. And you're confident about these projections? The savings you're promising? Absolutely, Ryan says. I stake my reputation on it. I think to myself, his reputation is built on my work. The woman sitting next to me whispers to her colleague, he's really good. I want to laugh or scream, but instead, I stand there, watching him soak up all the praise for work he couldn't have done on his own. Then someone asks who helped with the research. It's a reasonable question. Deals like this usually involve a team. Ryan gestures vaguely in my direction. I had some administrative support, he says. Just pulling files and organizing data. My assistant did the basic legwork. He continues, as if being generous by even mentioning me, she handles scheduling and keeps things running smoothly. But the strategic analysis, that's where the real expertise comes in. The room doesn't react. To them, I'm just a piece of furniture. I feel a cold clarity wash over me. I've been at this firm for 8 years, building relationships, learning the ins and outs of deals, and developing an instinct that many with advanced degrees don't have. And here he is, dismissing me as just a secretary. After the meeting ends, the investors shake Ryan's hand and congratulate him. One of them mentions bringing him in on another deal. Ryan says, I'd be honored. This is what I do, finding the truth in the numbers. Those are my words. I'd said that exact phrase to him 6 weeks ago when explaining how I'd uncovered the inventory shifting scheme in their Brussels branch. I walk back to my workspace, not in a rush, not in a temper. I walk with purpose because I know what I'm going to do. I sit down at my personal laptop, the one I use for non-work communication. 2 weeks ago, I received an email from Laura Thompson, the CEO of Bradley Enterprises. The email was short. Someone suggested I reach out to you. Ryan and I worked together a few years back. Before we finalize the acquisition, I'd like to get your opinion on him. Off the record, I value honest feedback. I'd replied professionally then, just saying that I supported the merger preparation work. I didn't want to overstep my bounds, and at that time, I still thought Ryan and I were a team. Now, I open a new email to Laura. I start typing, Miss Thompson, I hope this message finds you well. I need to bring something crucial to your attention regarding the analysis presented today. The financial projections you received contain significant inaccuracies. The liability calculations for the overseas subsidiaries are incorrect. The Brussels branch isn't just masking losses through inventory shifts, there are additional unreported obligations that weren't included in the presentation. The risk exposure is much higher than what was discussed. I pause and reread what I've written. This isn't about anger or revenge, it's about giving her the information she needs to make an informed decision. I continue, I'm attaching my original analysis, the complete version. You'll notice discrepancies between what I found and what was presented today. I believe your legal team should verify these findings independently before any agreements are finalized. The numbers matter, and these numbers are wrong. I attach all the files I've worked on for the past 3 months, the real and detailed breakdowns that Ryan took and made more palatable for the investors. My finger hovers over the send button. I know this will end the deal, destroy Ryan's reputation, and might cost me my job. But I also know that if Bradley Enterprises goes through with this acquisition based on Ryan's false projections, they'll lose billions. Laura deserves the truth. I click send. 32 minutes pass. I'm counting. Then Ryan's phone starts buzzing. He looks at it, frowns, and rejects the call. But it starts buzzing again a few seconds later. This time he answers and walks towards the window. I can't hear what he's saying, but I can see his posture change. He goes from confident to hunched, like he's trying to shrink into himself. The call lasts about 4 minutes. When he hangs up, he stares at his phone as if it's a venomous snake. Then it rings again. He answers immediately. Yes, I can explain. There must be some misunderstanding. No, I had the files reviewed by our team. What discrepancies? He falls silent, listening. His free hand comes up to his forehead, pressing hard. I need to pull the original research. Give me 20 minutes. I'll send everything over. He hangs up and walks straight towards Marcus's office. 10 minutes later, they both come out. Marcus looks confused, and Ryan looks like he's just had the worst news of his life. D.